Hi friends. Boop! Let's make a gnome. It's quick, it's easy. We're going to use a Dollar Tree men's ankle sock. Any sock will do. Some faux fur. You need some fabric. Mine is non-stretchy linen. You'll need something for weight. I'm using poly pellets, but you can use rice, and some stuffing. Some scissors, an X-Acto knife, a ruler, hot glue gun, and then something to tie up the top of the gnome. If you use elastics, you may want to add some string and whatever decorations you want. So as I mentioned, this is a Dollar Tree men's sock. It's not that thick, but don't worry about it. We're gonna fix it. So you can add however much weight you would like. Do I recommend rice? No, I do not. I recommend poly pellets, but honestly, you do you. Whatever makes your heart happy. So I just added some until I like the weight of it, and then I'm going to use some polyfill stuffing on the top and sort of to round out all of those poly pellets. Once I have that, I tamp it down really hard, and look, you can see the white, but don't worry, we're going to get rid of that. So as I mentioned, you can use an elastic, but I like to use strings so the elastic doesn't break over time. If you do use those Dollar Tree elastics, maybe use a couple or a few. I just found that they snap fairly easy, so I'm just going to tie this off and then cut this down a little bit. And look, all of this extra sock, you just cover over the bottom. That'll take care of any of the white showing through. Isn't that handy dandy? And here's the best part. Just drop it and then, you know, take out your frustrations. So I'm going to cut about a 4-inch, you can see there, by about a 3-inch beard here, and I'm just going to let the ends dangle over the edge of the gnome. So in order to make it so that you don't cut off the actual edge of the fur like you can see over on that one side, you just use an X-Acto knife, barely scraping the top. I'm just measuring that I in fact stopped at 3. There you go. But you just use an X-Acto knife. You can use scissors, but it's so much slower and I'm really impatient. If you're new here, hi, I'm a lazy crafter. I make a ton of stuff, but I don't want to do work if I don't have to. So look, now it's all fluffy. Now you can put it on the gnome just like this, which would be a nice round, edge beard. I, however, am going to find the center and cut 2 small triangles off the bottom. Now this is because number 1, I want a V, but also number 2, I have to make a whole bunch of little package tags like these, and these little cutoffs are perfect. So I'm just going to hot glue this to the front of this sock gnome. What's the front? Whatever you decide. That's the beauty of these things. They're quick and easy. Now I will say, you see how my glue doesn't go to the edge? Don't go to the edge. Number 1, you have to pick it up. And number 2, you're going to want to make sure all those edges are down anyway. So after you press it on, go to all of the edges, just lifting them up gently and gluing them down there. See? Easy peasy. Not making it any difficult. If you're not new here, aren't you happy it's almost gnome making season? I will say I'm using this linen. I've had this linen forever. It is not stretchy at all. So I get a lot of questions using cotton and other non-stretchy fabrics. So I thought I would use this to make myself a cute little gnome. So we are going to use the entire back of this and we're going to cover it. So in order to do that, put the gnome on the table, bring up the edge of the hem side, and then just overlap it by 1 inch. That right there is going to make sure that you can fit the nose, whatever nose you decide to add on, and just cut up about 2.5 to 3 inches on this rise. Just make a little mark, fold it over, and then get your ruler, and then we're going to cut it up. So the rise is going to help us tuck it under the little gnome booty. So I'm using 2.5 inches, and that was amazing that it was actually exact. And then you're just any height. Let me say this again, any height. This is about 14 inches because that's what I had on hand. I'm not adding anything. I'm not taking anything with a height. This is the easiest gnome. If you want, make a nice little curvy do up here and leave about a 1/2 inch at the top. I'm going to add a tassel, and so that's what I'm going to do. So this is going to be my hem. If you want, you can glue that up if you have a raw edge. If you're using cotton, definitely glue that up. I'm just using what was on the edge of the linen. You're going to put the right sides together, and at this point you can glue up this whole entire side of the triangle, but I'm going to be a little extra because I really think this would look cute with a tassel. And I have to make this pumpkin and bow, what do you call it, garland that this is going to sit next to, and the garland is going to be twine. Does that make sense? That's why I'm using a tassel here. I'm sorry. I should do a home tour when I get all this stuff done. I promise it will make sense. So I'm just making a tassel the easy way out of the same exact twine that I used to tie this thing up. It's not even going to be the fancy little cute tassel knot where you hide it, because I'm not doing that today. If you are new here, I am always listening to an Audible book or electronic dance music on my Alexa when I'm doing this kind of stuff, which is why I don't do lives. I really think that crafting for me is a bit of an escape. It's a bit of a mind break. And I usually love to listen to Audible books or really hard, really fast, really loud music while I do it. All right, so this is almost done here. I was gonna see that pumpkin off to the side. I was gonna put that pumpkin on it, and then I couldn't. It's a Dollar Tree pumpkin, okay? So I couldn't figure out how I was gonna actually attach it to where it wouldn't fly off. So if you have any ideas for that, I still wanted the stem. If you have any ideas for that, can you leave them down in the comments below? Because I really, really want to do that with one. I have 3 more of these tiny pumpkins I got from the Dollar Tree. All right. So now when you're going to attach anything, a bell, a tassel, anything, you're going to tie a knot in it and then cut off some of the excess. You want the knot to be on the outside. So remember, we have right sides together. So you're going to pull it to where the knot is on the outside and the tassel's on the inside. Take a sec, glue that down, make sure you hold it to make sure it doesn't move, and then just glue up the sides. Now you will see while I'm gluing this, I am not perfect. I am using a detail tip glue gun, which makes me better, to be honest. But it doesn't matter if you're perfect or not. And here's the other thing. If you get a little impatient and when you're hot gluing this stuff together and a hole pops out, just hot glue it back together. No one's going to know. I didn't even line mine up right there. You'll see it. All right, so I do recommend not tugging on the tassel to push this stuff out, so you can actually use your fingers, gently pull here, and then use something to poke out the very tip. I like to bang it on the table. So I'm going to use the rounded edge of my scissors and just poke this out. Really stay away from that seam. If you would like, you can also sew this with, I would say, no less than a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm just going to tuck that little part under the booty and then overlap the beard up here at the top, just a little bit so we can put our nose on. If you like that, then let's move to the new step. Next one is just splitting the faux fur to the fabric backing. Why we're doing this is because when we add hot glue right here and attach our nose, it's less likely to fall off because it's only attached to hair. There you go. It's going to go right there. Put a dollop of hot glue. I should probably have laid that down on the table as my hot glue just drips down the front of that guy. Whatever, it was fine. This is lazy crafting, right? We're crafting for fall. It's not the busy season of, oh man, I need to take a breath. All right. It's not Christmas. It's fall. So I'm just going to spread out the hot glue so you can't really see the join because, again, I'm not adding a trim on this. I am, however, going to leave all of the bit over the faux fur alone. And I'm just going to glue down all of this back on the, see, I didn't even line those 2 things up. Whatever. Now, the reason I'm saying this is if you fold over your hat and you want some stuffing in here, you can just tug it right up here. Make sure to brush down the faux fur. But if you want to add that, you can add as much as you want. And then you can glue the hat down. Or you can just leave it like this and not. But I moved over that little piece of stuffing that I put in because I was too lazy to take it out. And now I'm going to glue the hat down right over here on the side. You do not need the stuffing. It's there, so I wasn't going to take it out. Now I'm going to glue this down both in the front. Now it still looks really casual, right? But I'm going to glue it down in the back as well. You don't have to do this. You can just literally let it fall over to the side. Now, because I am absolutely committed to using this Dollar Tree pumpkin, I'm going to go ahead and cut it with a serrated knife. I'm sure there's a better way. That worked for me. And I'm going to paint it. Here's a fun fact. If I did bloopers, here's what you don't do. You don't paint it and then use your heat gun to dry it. It will bubble up. So here you can see I'm just adding a little dimension and shading. That's it. I'm not taking a lot of time with this. Now I'm going to cut these little teeny tiny things. This is like a little piece of greenery and I just took the top pieces. That's it. I think the fall crafting should be simple, like summer crafting, right? You don't have the pressure and sales and everything going on, crazy shopping and all that you have going on at the winter. I'm just chilling out. All right, so now I'm going to melt the little styrofoam with the end of my hot glue gun because I am, yeah, that lazy. Add some glue and pop on that stem. Now, if you notice my little Dollar Tree stem here has the edge on it, I'm just going to cut that off too because I forgot to do that before. There we go. And I'm just going to glue this. And here's another fun fact. Let that dry just a second before you press it on so it doesn't melt. And here he is in the natural light. What do you think? I thought this was a really fun, really quick and easy project. I'd love to hear what you think down below. Be sure to subscribe and follow along for more.